Welcome back. Now, a prayer vigil and demonstration will be held in the memory of the 37 mentally ill patients who passed away this year. Their families will gather outside the Gauteng Department of Health, where they will also hand over a memorandum to the MEC in the portfolio Qedani Mahlangu. Now, the deaths followed after patients were moved from Life Esidimeni to non-governmental organizations. Joining us now this morning is Andrew Pieterson, one of the organizers of the vigil. A very good morning to you, Andrew, and it's great to have you this morning. Now, your uncle is also currently at an NGO in Krugersdorp. What were the circumstances when he was moved from Life Esidimeni to this NGO?
Well, you know, we actually arrived for the normal December gathering. That's where we were suddenly told that they would be moved away from Esidimeni. There was no clarity, and I think that created a lot of anxiety. We were asked to fill in some forms and things and given a list of potential NGOs that they would be transferred to. The reason it seemed to us was mainly in order to cut budgets, and it seemed like it was a very hurried decision at that point.
You're not involved at any stage?
No, we were not consulted. It was very much a top-down thing, Simpiwe. You know, the decision had been taken, the department had decided. They were willing to work with the families in as far as carrying out the decision, but the decision was already on cast in stone. So we then formulated a committee. I'm a member of that particular committee. To work with the department to see that the transition happens smoothly. Okay. But obviously, you know, we had several meetings with the department. We went to some of the NGOs, the better off ones, you know, and we were told that there would be renovations, improvements, security would be beefed up, you know, issues of entertainment would be looked into and other issues. Right. And that patients would get their medication on time and all that. But we didn't manage to go to all the NGOs. We didn't see most of the NGOs. And before we knew it, before the actual initial deadline was March, but then later on the department said June. But middle of June, all the people were rushed out.
So in this new NGO that your uncle is currently booked, and having visited him, what do you think of that NGO? Is it giving him all the special care and attention that he deserves?
I think given the resources that they have and the infrastructure and so on, they are probably doing the best that they can. But they are under-resourced. And we were told that there was a time when he went for 2 weeks without taking his medication. So there's been some backlogs on the department side. It was also obvious to us that he was very malnutritioned. He had lost weight terribly. I had never seen him like that before. He had deteriorated, I mean, like, you know, very rapidly in that short space of time. This was like a month or so after the transfer. And we were very worried about that. And we obviously raised our concern and so forth. Also, at that point, after 2 months after the transfer, the security still wasn't quite beefed up. Right. There was no real entertainment, you know, anything for mental stimulation. You know, these are the kinds of people, Simpiwe, where you need to give them mental stimulation. Right, right. You know.
And just to interrupt you there, I do beg your pardon, what sort of developments have there been between the families and the Department of Health after the passing of the patients?
Developments that have happened, well, we have basically asked the department to give us details of the number of people that have passed on and the circumstances under which they've passed on. Okay. We're still waiting for the department to come back to us on that. In fact, those are some of the demands that we have.
Okay, just briefly in 15 seconds, tell us more about the vigil that is scheduled for today and what sort of demands that would you be presenting to the MEC? Just briefly.
Right. The vigil for today, basically what we are saying here, these are people that cannot speak for themselves. These are people that are disabled, or differently enabled, And they have been treated very unjustly in that they were moved from where they were secure, where things were conducive for them, to NGOs that were not properly prepared, you know. I fully concur with the idea of integrating them into the communities, and I think the concept itself is fantastic. But the way in which it was done was rushed and was ill-prepared.
Yeah.
So we are demanding that the department someone should account for those 37 deaths. And we have a long list of demands, among which we're also asking for those that have not died yet, what the department is doing about those and what will be done about those.
Andrew Pieterson, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great chatting to you this morning.
Thank you, Zimpe.
That was Andrew Pieterson, one of the organizers for the vigil in honor and memory of the mentally ill patients who passed away this year, and in a concept now known as the Esidimeni 37. Well, this is morning.